Mermaids are noted a lot throughout many different cultures around the world and through time, and it's always so interesting to see what we see when we're out in the sea. But what we're seeing? Is it real? Hi, my name is Jessa. Please join me as we look together top 10 real mermaid sightings in history that'll leave you convinced. Yeah. And before we begin, in the last video I was in, top 10 American presidents who had secret affairs, I gave you guys a riddle. Did you get it? The riddle was, I am present at the beginning of love and the start of life, and I am at the end of evil. What am I? The answer is the letter L. Your next riddle will be at the end of this video. Anyways, let's get started. Number 10, Kei Islands. In 1943, during the Second World War, Japanese soldiers were stationed in a 555 square mile area in the Kei Islands in Indonesia. There they had some strange encounters with some mermaids during the 1940s. The local villagers were familiar with these creatures and called them orang ikan, which translates to manfish. The creatures were described as being around 150 centimeters tall, having spikes on their spine, shoulders, and neck. They were said to have pink salmon colored skin and a mouth that resembled a carp. Rather than having a fishtail, these creatures had long arms and frog-like legs, both of which had talons at the end. Mr. Taro Horiba, a sergeant, requested villagers, if any of the orang ikan were captured, dead or alive, to contact him immediately. He saw with his own eyes the lifeless aquatic creature, and he describes what he saw as roughly 4 foot 9 inches tall, pinkish skin, human looking face and limbs, spikes along its head, and a mouth like a carp. Number 9, sirens or mermaids. In this clip we see a fisherman that had posted this video on TikTok that had been taken down but is now re-uploaded many times by other users. This fisherman, who was just doing his rounds, noticed an eerie sound like singing. We do know when it comes to the ocean there had been noted sounds of whales, dolphins, and many debunked sea creatures making similar sounds. But this was slightly different. He was surrounded by the sounds and in turn made him feel the need to record, where we see in the video of both sides of him on the boat, both something swimming extremely fast, the same speed as the boat next to him, side by side. What do you guys think? Number 8, Mayne Island. In 1967, a ferry with tourists was astonished to spot a blonde mermaid on a beach. The people who saw this marine creature said that she seemed to be eating raw salmon fish while enjoying the waves splashing upon her. A similar mermaid spotting incident was reported that same week, although a lot of people didn't believe that it was real. Charles White from the Undersea Gardens was desperate to prove her existence and offered $25,000 reward for the mermaid's capture, even going as far as saying that he would, in quote, offer a room for the mermaid with whatever she liked. Okay. Weirdo. But no one was able to capture or find the mermaid, and as the time passed, the story died. Why would you put a mermaid in your room? Anyway, sorry. Number 7, Cambodia. One of the largest freshwater lakes in Southeast Asia goes to Cambodia, and as it's popular for various historical and archaeological sites related to its main religion of Buddhism, the country lies next to Thailand, where they share a mermaid. The Thai people call her as Subhana Matcha, while in Cambodia she is known as Sovana Matcha. Considering the distance between the lands, the fact that they had similar sightings of the same imagery of the mermaid seems pretty legit. There could be something in the water sparkling the same imagery. According to legend, the creature they've been seeing is the princess daughter of a demon and the leader of her own pack of mer warriors. The story is still popular in Cambodia today, and maybe as they retell its tale through their traditions of dance of Hanuman and Sovan Matcha, she might come up one day just to say hello. Number 6, Japan. Of course, the soldiers lurking in Indonesia who saw the strange orang ikan were pretty uncomfortable and scared, but even within Japanese folklore, like most places that are in extreme close proximities of large bodies of water or surrounded by the sea, have their own legends and stories of deformed and strange sea creatures. When it comes to mermaids in Japan, they call it nyenyo. It is a word in Japanese composed of the characters of person and fish. It is believed that one such creature appeared to Prince Shotoku in Lake Biwa, northeast of Kyoto. This creature was once a fisherman who had trespassed to fish in protected waters. As punishment, he had been transformed into a nyenyo with his dying breath, calling upon the prince to absolve him of his crimes. This photo here is a mummified relic featuring the upper part of a monkey's body and a fish tail from a British museum. This article where this image is published is in 2022, where scientists are beginning their testing on the so-called 300-year-old mummy to identify its origins. Number 5, Kauai. A videographer at the Jack Diving Locker of Kauai claims that he not only saw what came into brief contact with a mermaid, while 20 minutes off the coast of Kauai was when he saw what he looked like a woman just 10 feet away, swimming with a pod of dolphins and keeping up with their fast pace, which Letcher thought was obviously odd. She suddenly jumped into the air, revealing her fishtail. There were 10 people on the boat who said they saw the same thing, and they were only able to see her jump twice before she disappeared forever into the water. Letcher thought that was all, and he dived into the water to take some photographs of the marine life, perhaps hoping he would get a capture of the mermaid too. An hour later, the same mermaid brushed up up against him while she was swimming away, or them. Number 4. Zimbabwe Dam. In 2012, Zimbabwe Dam workers were trying to install a water pump for local agriculture. When the pumps were blocked, local workers and divers were hired to see what was blocking these pipes. After submerging to investigate these pipes and resurfacing, these local divers and workers swore that they would never return to those waters again because they had seen a mermaid. The government didn't believe the workers and their claims of seeing the mermaid, just thought they weren't wanting to work in the depths, so they hired other divers and dam workers from the outside. But these new people also reported seeing the same thing and refused to go back in there to finish the repairs. Aside the workers, people of the land had no doubt of that mermaids were existing, and several had claimed that they had actually seen proof of the mermaids themselves, and the dam is still unfinished to this day. Number 3. Thailand. Of course, if you're in Southeast Asia, you're bound to see some wild things in the water. In Thailand, they found multiple sightings of strange creatures, including what is depicted as mermaids lurking in the water. Close to the mermaid is Phaya Naga, which are mythical serpentine-like creatures that lurk in the Mekong River. In 1974, Phos Beng Insigyangma became a child soldier and fought for Americans for many years. His luck almost ran out after he was simultaneously caught in an explosion that involved his right grenade and shot in his right leg. In an attempt to swim to safety in Thailand, he was sucked into a whirlpool and believed himself to be a goner until he saw something swimming up to him from the depths of the river. It looked like a big fish, but he was certain that it had long hair covering its body and the face of a girl, just like a mermaid. To his astonishment, it pulled him to the surface and pushed him onto Thailand's riverbank with its tail. He tried to uncover the identity of his savior at once, and the villagers living by the river told him that she must have been an underwater folk. Those who are in kind nature will only be blessed with the aid at times in need. Apparently this experience changed him and he actually became a monk. Number 2. The Forbidden Mermaid. In this article and interview on a podcast of a man who visited Hawaii, trespassed the beach banned from tourists to discover the sights of a mermaid he saw while on his trip. He claimed there was an area of the beach near the Sugarman estate that is closed off, even to boats. And while he was down there, he saw a mermaid rise out of the water, sneer at them for invading their private zones, and then swimming off. According to his story, this creature was at least 12 feet long. At first you might be thinking, well man, this guy was obviously lying, but another man in another podcast, unrelated to the two, noted the same thing, similar tones of the first man. In another podcast, another man mentions going to Africa, also seeing a 12-foot long mermaid coming at him. He describes the creature as approaching through the water like a missile before rising up and revealing itself not to be a shark or a fish, but rather a humanoid, a marine creature. But hey, whatever they saw is something we all wish we could see. I mean, would you actually want to see an actual mermaid? And number 1, they got hands. Finally, at our number 1, in this very scary clip from TikTok, I know when it comes to videos online, it's sketchy, but not a lot of info can guarantee its legitimacy. But when it comes to this clip from Vietnam in 2018, they mentioned in the video that they were trying to gather up fish nets when a silver ring was stuck to the net. Suddenly, as one of the patrons on the boat, a young man, was looking through, had toppled over and fell over the boat, shocking everyone watching. They assumed that maybe he just fell over, but in closer inspection, there seems to be something gripping onto his left wrist, dragging him into the water. The man was thankfully rescued after being pumped from the amount of water he inhaled and ingested, but this is by far the closest to maybe a modern take of mermaid proof we have. But hey, what do you think? I'm pretty sure there are different types of mermaids in different cultures and under different names. Do you have any cool mermaid stories? Let me know. And for your next riddle, are you ready? I sit above you without judging you and can protect you and keep you warm. What am I? Be sure to put your answer in the comments below and I'll reveal the answer in the next video. Top 10 American presidents who broke the law. I wonder. That's all for today. Thank you for joining me. My name is Jessa. Be sure to like and subscribe and I'll see your beautiful faces in the next one. Bye.